In an old rundown apartment building lives a woman named Christine Redfield. She's 24 with short brown hair and brown eyes. She's dressed in a white shirt with dark blue denim pants and her police badge attached to her back pocket. She wears dark brown weather boots and looks over a bulletin board she's made with photos of her mother, Zoe Baker, an old stained photo of her mother's family, a super old photo of Chris Redfield, a few maps with notes pinned with thumbtacks of last known locations. Some of these notes include photographs of the locations. These areas look shady, dangerous, and she questions why Chris was even in those places to begin with. She sighs and begins to reflect on her past memories.
Since I can remember, my mother and I had it rough. She never told me the full story about why she and her Uncle Joe became refugees after the deaths of her parents and brother, but that's how she met my father. She thought after almost a year they were serious till one day she woke up and he was gone. She thought he was out, so she ran some errands and bought a pregnancy test. She had some suspicions, and when it was confirmed she was expecting, she realized he wasn't coming home. Mom said if it wasn't for her uncle, she wouldn't have been able to make it those 9 months. He was the only family she had left. 5 years later, when he passed away and left her his old house and some money, she sold it and we moved to the city. She thought life would be better for us away from people who still believed in outdated traditions, like being a single mother with a kid out of wedlock. But I think it was also to escape her pain from her loss and all her bad memories. After we left Louisiana, her health took a turn. Since I could remember, she always had a medical issue which required a special medication, but whoever prescribed them started to delay refilling them and wouldn't return her calls. Because of this, she started to get severely sick. She never knew this, but one night I woke up to her crying and talking to someone on the phone. She then asked them what they meant by not knowing they stopped sending the serum capsules. "Chris, please, you have to help," she begged. It was then I realized my mother was speaking to my father. She told him that the day he left, she found out she was pregnant. I was all that she had left. Suddenly she began seizing. I was terrified. 9 years old, and I thought my mother was dying. I suspect Chris called for help because help did come. For the next few weeks, social services had a field day trying to get me taken until a miracle happened. Mom's health suddenly improved, and they began refilling her medication. I never told her I overheard her conversation with Chris. I don't even know how long she had been back in contact with him. Our life did get a little better for the next few years. I started music school, but things soon went straight back to hell. We started struggling with rent, eventually lost the apartment. I had to end my love for music and become a caregiver to my mother, whose health declined again. My mother passed away when I was 18. I was never the same after that. I later joined the military and after a few years became a cop. The night when I was 9 years old and my mother had reached out to my father always troubled me. After learning my existence and our situation, why didn't he help more? Why wasn't he in our lives? I spent the next few years trying to track him down. I will get my answers. I will fund you, Chris Redfield.
Christine looks at an older photo of Zoe sitting in a medical bed, looking up, smiling weakly. She looks frail, with tubes running from her nose to an oxygen tank. Next to it is a more healthier-looking Zoe holding a younger Christine as a child. The little girl that's now the young woman lights incense next to the picture, offering a kind smile before grabbing her denim jacket and heading out the door. When she gets to the lobby, she glances over to the mailroom. Letters pinned to her mailbox. Final notices of building foreclosure. Eviction notifications. She sighs as she looks at them all and folds them up and places them in her pocket. She exits the building and walks out into the early morning of city life, walking directly across the street toward a diner.
Since Spencer Corp took over, things have been even harder. They've been buying out buildings to build condos for their employees. Greedy landlords accept the large money deals and quickly throw tenants out. Some end up on the streets, while others give up. Today I thought it would be the same old day, but instead of a cup of stale dark coffee before work and listening to Jade's complaints about the homeless guy watching her again, I was about to have the worst couple of days of my life.
Christine soon enters the diner. It's a simple old retro style that has a questionable working environment. Cracks in the walls, old tile flooring, and a faint smell of burnt grease. She sits down at the bar area of the diner and waits. A young Asian lady, 19 years old, is walking around carrying trays. She wears a purple off-the-shoulder sweater dress with decorative straps, a black corset belt, black leggings, black low-heel boots with purple laces, her hair in two tight braided buns. Her name is Jade Kennedy Wong. Her heels make a loud clacking sound when making an impact with the floor. She's frustrated and throws the trays in the back opening for the cleaners to take. She grabs a pot of hot dark coffee and a mug, walking directly over towards Christine.
I hate this place, I hate this place, I hate this place.
You'd hate it more if this was a properly managed diner.
I might. But I'd rather wear an ugly uniform somewhere that actually pays me good tips, instead of working overtime, dealing with these picky customers. First they want their eggs one way, then they want to redo their order. And if that isn't enough, they need another stick of butter for one damn croissant.
Kudos to the customer who actually even tried eating one of those croissants. One of my colleagues said they almost chipped a tooth just biting into one.
I'm not surprised. They're not even made from scratch. I wouldn't be surprised if my manager gets them from the dumpster at the grocery store after they close down. He's so cheap, he can't even pay his employees for overtime. It's either work the extra hours or be fired. But I'm way ahead of him. After today, I'm quitting.
Congratulations, maybe I'll catch you at the new diner at my next flat. Spencer's Corp just bought my apartment building, and I gotta be out before the end of the month.
They're targeting your place too. They've been eyeing my apartment building as well. Luckily, our manager isn't accepting the bribes. You know, Christine, I do have an extra room, and my place is a half an hour to your precinct. You can always stay over for a while until you find a new place.
I appreciate that, Jade, but what about your mom? Doesn't she have a say in that as well?
Don't worry about it. My mom is always away on her trips. By the time she gets back, I doubt she'd know you were there. Besides, it would be great to have a policewoman as a roommate. Especially if that homeless guy keeps stalking me.
I figured you'd mention him eventually. He hasn't really done anything, Jade. There's nothing I can do unless he does eventually do something.
I know. But I would feel better having someone staying over for a while. It gets lonely sometimes, and having a friend over for a while would be nice.
The two women chatted for a while until a news broadcast popped on the TV screen. It was a report about an escaped criminal from a special facility. The moment his photo popped up, Jade's expression changed.
Shit.
What's wrong?
That's our trouble customer of the day. He came in here earlier and ordered some food, but started throwing up violently. He made quite a mess. He's refused us calling an ambulance and has been in the bathroom. I'm positive it's him.
Guess that means my job starts early. Jade, call 911 and let them know what's happening. I will take care of it, but I would like backup. In case this gets rough, make sure no one goes near those restrooms.
I'm on it. Be careful, Christine.
Christine got up and slowly began to approach the diner's public restrooms. She could hear the man throwing up and groaning in displeasure. She had her hand on her gun, getting ready to use it if needed. She announced herself and told the person inside she was coming in, and to have his hands where she could see them. When she entered, she saw the man was transforming into some twisted, deformed mutation. She cried out for the customers to evacuate immediately as she backed away from the creature. People started screaming the moment the deformed, mutated man came bursting through the walls and door, barely giving time for Christine to move out of the way. The man had become almost 7 feet tall with wide shoulders, super long limbs with sharp claws, and a huge gouging eye protruding between the left side of his neck and shoulder, staring right at Christine. Her eyes widened. She had never seen anything like this before.